Tonight, on the official pre-show to the award-winning Dead and Buried Treasures, we have mermaids, mystery, mayhem, and Marabella. Who is she? Well, she's a new character on the show in the form of a mermaid. We're going to go behind the scenes at the making of a mermaid as Marabella herself. Aline Isley joins us for an interview at the creation of fun special effects. We'll also discuss the cliffhanger in the latest show with the newest villain arriving on the scene of DABT. And we'll take questions from Facebook and other online queries that you might have for the show. And of course, the movie tonight that we are hosting is Terror Creatures from the Grave, starring Babs Steele. That's right, Barbara Steele is back. And that's all tonight. A full roster on Walk the Plank. Rich would be so jealous. Yeah! And welcome once again to Walk the Plank, the official pre-show to the award-winning Dead and Buried Treasures. I'm Eric Sprouse, I'm series creator, and I also happen to play Captain Calico Drake himself on the show, your host. Rich is on vacation tonight. You know, Rich takes a lot of vacations. What? Well, yeah, he couldn't make it. He has things to do. I get it. But, right. Well, Rich will be back next time. We miss you, Rich. I don't know how I'm doing this by myself, but let's talk about tonight's movie, Terror Creatures from the Grave. One of the original zombie movies. An attorney arrives at a castle to settle the estate of its recently deceased owner. And the owner's wife and daughter reveal that he was someone who was able to summon the souls of ancient plague victims. And, in fact, his spirit was roaming the castle at that very moment. So soon, the occupants of the castle begin to die off in gruesome, violent ways. That's right, Babs Steele is back once again in the 1965 classic Terror Creatures from the Grave. Take a look.
Terror Creatures from the Grave.
Avenge me! I've summoned you! Avenge me!
Go back to the dead!
In a dreadful night of reckoning, the forces of darkness strike with blood-freezing horror.
You're here.
A nightmare of diabolical happenings, conceived in a murder-haunted house of blood by the maniac called Geronimus, a dead man with the monstrous power to return from his grave.
I tell you, it was my father. I saw him.
What are you saying? Can't you see the boat is empty?
Look! Look! There's water dripping from the oars.
A bone-chilling shocker, inspired by Edgar Allan Poe.
No!
Terror Creatures from the Grave, starring Barbara Steele.
Scary, right? This isn't, it's not as good as Black Sunday. You think it is? You know, this movie is about zombies, right? I mean, it's not, that's what the creatures are. Plague victims coming back to life, ancient plague victims. But I've never seen a zombie movie without any zombies. Figure that out. A lot of it's built on suspense, I guess, from the Hitchcock era. But we'll see it as it makes its premiere tonight in another chapter of the award-winning Dead and Buried Treasures. And speaking of which, when we come back, we will speak to the newest cast member of Dead and Buried Treasures, Aline Isley, and the difficulties of shooting an episode while creating challenging special effects for her role, that of a mermaid. Stay with us.
Phoenix Comics and Toys has done it again.
My decoder's here!
Yar, me hearties! The Dead and Buried Treasure Fan Club is now accepting new crew.
Wow, Benson at H7.
Each fan club kit contains one decoder statue with a secret compartment containing your doubloon, one autographed photo of the captain and Jack, and one welcoming letter. Yar!
My gold doubloon!
Decode each episode's code for a chance to win prizes. Yar! Set sails to Etsy and Facebook to order yours today. Yar!
Buster, your brother needs to use the bathroom.
I'll be right out, Dad!
And welcome back, everyone. Rich is on vacation this week, but he will be back in our next show. In fact, I gotta say this. In fact, some of my crew said to me, I'm looking in wardrobe, I'm like, what should I wear tonight? You know, what am I gonna wear tonight? And they're like, why don't you wear one of them jerseys, one of them shirts you wear that you market on that Redbubble? So I gotta tell you, this is the Dead and Buried Treasures shirt. I just happen to be wearing it, right? I'm not marketing it. I just feel weird wearing a shirt with my own face on it. What? Bob's like, are you kidding? You're proud of that thing. I am proud of it. I never looked finer, but I figured, let's wear it on the show, right? I just feel like I don't want people to think I'm conceited. I'm not really conceited. I really am not. I bust my ass for this show. Right? Tell me we don't bust our ass for this show. Yeah. No. Are you kidding with all the effect shots in this show tonight that they're going to see? It's amazing. Well, you're going to see when you watch the show tonight, everything's green screen. 100% of the show, 100% of anything you see on Dead and Buried Treasures is a special effect. Anything, any studio, anything. So I've gotten very fortunate to work with good people who understand what I'm looking for and envisioning as a director or a creator of the show when you have to, so we can get around masks and working with others face to face. So how do you do it? Well, thank God for green screens. But even that is not easy. It requires timing, precision, and as they say, just plain hard work. And our guest tonight knows a lot about hard work playing a mermaid on Dead and Buried Treasures. Joining us tonight is Aline Isley, the character of Marabella, a new character on Dead and Buried Treasures. Aline, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hi, thank you for joining us tonight. I was just talking to my producer before we went on air, and he says, there's a big winter storm heading this way. I want to get the hell out of here. And I'm like, I live in Pittsburgh. The show's seen all across the United States, worldwide really, and Aline, you live in Pittsburgh too, right?
Correct.
Yeah, you prepped for this we're supposed to get 6-7 inches of snow tonight.
Yeah, I heard. It keeps changing overnight. They keep changing the amount of inches. I expect about 2 feet by tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm thinking probably head for the hills. It'll be like something will be on TikTok of me trying to shovel and I'll fall on my ass out there. But, of all the times for my snowblower to bust a carburetor. I don't have a snowblower right now, so whatever God dumps on us, dumps on us. I just can't do anything about that. So, what a challenge.
You're out of luck. I guess you have to brace for impact.
You're right. What a challenge. We were talking about some of the challenges too as an actress, especially in a world like this with the pandemic. It's not easy. Can you talk about some of the challenges of an actress doing your craft in a pandemic world like this?
Absolutely. Probably the hardest part about trying to continue the craft in a pandemic world is that there's just not a lot of acting work available right now.
Right.
I was actually performing in a stage show the day that everything in Pennsylvania shut down.
Oh,
so
wow.
we actually had to cancel our final few performances and mid-run, which was disheartening. And since then, I have not had any opportunities to be back on the live stage. It's just not safe yet for live productions to be going on. So it's taken a huge toll on my love of acting, and I've been looking into other more digital venues, which is how I found you. Yeah,
I guess that's one of the fortunate things about this is that's how you and I found each other on an auditioning website. And now we have to do things not in a studio. I mean, we could do it in a studio, but I don't think a lot of actor or viewers out there realize you have to wear masks. And we're not complaining about that. It's just that, if you have to wear a mask in the studio, I'd have to be wearing a mask right now. And we have the levity of being able to shoot some of these things with green screens behind us that allow us to kind of do our own thing without having to violate any kind of social distancing, right?
Yes, we get to stay safe, but also still shoot content that has full visibility, which I think is awesome. Yeah, and
I'm going to hold you to what you think it looks like because the post-production process on this has not been stellar, but let's talk a little bit about working with special effects. You play a mermaid on the show, and the audience you haven't even seen it yet.
I have not.
Right. So it's going to be interesting to see. I'm going to call for your comments and see what you thought. And I don't want you to hold back. Let me know what you thought. But talk about some of the challenges you have to do with special effects. You had to create the whole underwater sequence on your side of the editing, of the pre-production stage.
Yes. So pre-production was great because we sat down and really went over each portion of the script and what your expectations were for the scene, what side to enter from, all the little nitty-gritty details.
Yeah.
But then it was entirely up to me to shoot all of that footage alone with my own green screen, which, by the way, is just a big felt blanket right across the doorway in the dining room.
I believe it. I believe it. It's kind of like that here.
But yeah, one of our biggest concerns with Mirabella was how to make the mermaid part of her read when, most of our shots are waist up. You don't get the glory of having the full-on tail costume in shot. So we decided to try making multiple layers of footage, and that is where the puppeteering came into play.
Right, yeah. If you take a look at some of the photos here, you can see Aline working with scripting and hanging green screens and being a puppet master, no pun intended, with the tail. And if you look closely to our viewers at home, you can see a hand in the shot kind of doing the tail, because you have to, when you do special effects, you have to layer all that. So Aline obviously is in the front, and then behind her you have layered with a green screen, her tail kind of swishing around, and behind that you have another one where you have the sea, and then I have to add bubbles in the shot kind of coming out of your mouth. Creating a mermaid is just a real challenge, but it's something that what the funny thing is, Aline, I don't think that was the hardest effect we did on this particular episode coming up tonight. I thought the hardest effect we did was where you and I have to hug like old friends on camera. Can you talk about some of the challenges with that?
Well, I know that was one of the only sections we had to actually reshoot from the ground up. We communicated very thoroughly before shooting, and for some reason, we still shot the hug in a way that it couldn't be used, so I had to go back and reshoot. But you're thinking, when you're working with green screen and the other actor isn't in shooting this scene with you and you're thinking about a composite shot, you really have to think about eye lines, where that person would be standing, how your body would move. And it makes it awkward when you're supposed to be hugging, like touching and connecting, and you don't know where that person is. So a lot of it was guesswork and multiple takes so we could choose the best one.
Right. Yeah, and I tell you something too that you don't even know of, and it's not really a blooper because it's not funny, but it was annoying. I don't know how it worked out with you all the time because I got some of your best stuff, but I would go in for the hug, and I'm wearing a microphone, and I ran out of space as I'm walking, and it pulls the camera, and the camera twirls around, and you see like the shot of like guys like sitting there like having their lunch, you know, my TV, you know, and I'm like, son of a and I have to go back and I have to turn it, set up the scene again. People don't realize how complicated that hug, just the hug, because I'm not in the room at the same time as you are. In fact, you're on the other side of the city. You know, you're over here in Pittsburgh, I'm over here in Washington, and it's a complicated shot because we have to make it look like, oh, we're old friends, come here, give me a big hug, you. And I had to do a quick cutaway shot to Jack, the parrot, and to Davy Bones having a conversation and cutting back to close-ups because it just didn't play right. And even so, and the funny thing was too, in post-production, the way we shot it, I look enormous. Because you look like this petite little mermaid, and I'm like, come here, let me give you a big hug, you know. And I had to like play with the visuals of the camera inside that. Oh, what an experience that was in mermaiding, you know?
Yeah.
You're a character I would like to keep recurring and have you back every once in a while. In fact, we have plans to have you back in the next show, but more of a comedy. We're gonna have more comic. We're gonna test your comedic skills in that one.
Great.
Well, what's it like for an actress like yourself? You also have like a movie-making husband too, right?
Yes, my husband has been making independent, low-budget films for like the last decade now, and
right.
It's been great. It was my first experience working on film rather than on stage, so it's been a big growing experience over the last 8 years or so.
Right, and I see that the moment you told me about it, I watched it. I called it up on Tubi. If you want to watch it, you can watch it there. But I watched Carousel, and I know you're doing production on Carousel too, right?
Yes, thank you for mentioning. We are getting ready. We are in pre-production right now. We are going to start shooting the footage for Carousel 2 this April. It'll be in the Pittsburgh area, and we're hoping for a possible release this fall. Mm-hmm. It's going to be the second best, or I guess equally best, killer carousel unicorn movie you've ever seen.
I did see it. Now, before we end this tonight, you haven't seen yourself on camera, right?
I have not yet. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's. I think it'll be a lot of fun. We did some effects, and we kind of black and whited a lot of things that you'll see to kind of hide some things. And we do fog hides a lot on the show. So if you see me topside, you always see fog on the ship. But I can't do it when I'm down underneath the ship, you know, like in my quarters and things. So it's tough to do it there. But you'll see a lot of fog. Fog is very forgiveful on this show. But maybe you could join us next time. I'm told it'll be a comedy next time. So we'll see how well the skills are. We're hosting the perfect movie, Plan 9. So we'll see how things work out with that.
Well, I hope you have a laugh track queued up so we can make sure we're real funny.
Yeah, well, I have to do that. Well, Lillian, I'll tell you what, thanks for joining us tonight, taking the time to join us tonight. Maybe next time we can even have you on the show to answer some calls from our monthly mailbag, because I'm sure there will be some.
Oh, I love that. Ask me anything.
That'll be great. All right, thanks again, Elaine. We'll see you next time.
Sure, thanks for having me.
All righty. Well, when we come back, we'll answer our monthly mailbag of horror and take some questions from our Facebook friends and viewers out there who want to know all about the latest Dead and Buried Treasures villain. Stay tuned. It's the Pirate's Booty, our after show, seen immediately after Dead and Buried Treasures ends. Captain Calico Drake and series creator Eric Sprouse take your calls for up to an hour, answering questions about the series or whatever's on your mind about the Swashbucklers' haunt, the club, convention appearances, and much more. That's our after show, the Pirate's Booty, taking your booty calls till the wee hours of the morning, immediately following Dead and Buried Treasures on most affiliates. Welcome back to the official pre-show for the award-winning Dead and Buried Treasures, Walk the Plank. It's time for my favorite part of the show, the monthly mailbag. On the Walk the Plank show, we answer a lot of our emails, Facebook queries, things like that, instant messages in our monthly mailbag, and we save the phone calls now for the Pirate's Booty. And we answer a lot of phone calls because people will watch during the course of the night and then ask questions afterwards. Of course, they like to call in and ask questions for a pre-show, but we like to divide the two so we have a nice blend. So the Pirate's Booty, we do phone calls. Here we do a lot of Facebook comments and quotes. And our first one comes from Kevin Perry in Buffalo, New York. And his question is, who is this new villain? Well, if you were watching the last episode of Dead and Buried Treasures when we hosted the movie Long John Silver and you made it all the way to the end, we had a cliffhanger. We introduced a brand new villain. And I wanted a villain on the show that we needed a Joker. You know, we have like the Penguin and we have the Riddler and we have Two-Face kind of villains, but we needed a Joker. And I wanted somebody that's scary and creepy to the viewers, that they're like, who is that guy? And he's masked, you don't know who he is, and we're going to unveil who that is one day. But I think it'll surprise you. But we're getting into a mythology, and this is a mythology show tonight, by the way, folks. Next week, not so much. It's more comedic, but we're going to get into the mythology where we just needed a Joker character and a bad guy, an ultimate bad guy who always is one step ahead of Drake. And that's who this is. We don't know his name yet, but that's who he's about, and he's going to be around for quite some time. So I hope that answers your question. This next question comes from Jody Bellington of Erie, Pennsylvania. How did you come up with the movie Tree of Life idea? That's a good question. You know, I am a college professor in another life, in a current life, whatever you want to call it. And I've taught a lot of film and television at different colleges. I've probably taught at about 8 different colleges and universities over the years. And I taught TV and film production because I'm a big fan of the movie. Critic in another life as well. I used to host a show in Pittsburgh called the Hollywood Spotlight. And we would have a lot of people on the show and review movies and things like that. And I'm just a big fan of the movies and TV. In fact, I'm thinking about launching another show called The Better Binge in this world where you would review TV shows. Everybody seems to review the movies. But I'm a big movie fan. So when Hallmark started releasing characters as Christmas tree ornaments, I collected them. And I've been doing that for over a decade, at least 15, 20 years. And I'd go back and collect some that I missed. I got everything from Deadpool to Frankenstein, from King Kong to Captain Kirk over the years. So I have a great big giant white Christmas tree at my home that became a staple that people know me by at Christmas time, that has all kinds of movie characters on it. And I thought, we need to somehow get that on the show. And that's how I ended up getting it on the show. And thank God, because that writes a lot of our mythology of what it's about. That there's a mysterious Christmas tree on the island that no one can explain, that has every ornament from every movie ever made circulating on that tree, and if it falls off, it's public domain kind of thing. And that's where we got the idea. I hope that answers your question, Jody. Let's see, our next question. Can we guess at who the new villain is? And this comes from Debbie Schrader in West Virginia. Can you guess at who the new villain is? Yep. Okay, I hope that answers that, Debbie. Right. Will Reggie be back? This comes from Victoria Willington in Cincinnati, Ohio. I used to live in Cincinnati. Used to teach out there at the Art Institute. Will Reggie be back? Oh, yeah. I've had so much popular feedback to the character of Reggie, I would never get rid of him. He might be in peril once in a while, but he's awesome. And I've just developed the way that he talks and he hosts things, and he's just so awesome. And I've had a real positive feedback to all that character. And just because how he's interpreted is entirely up to the angle of the viewer. He's just a great character, and I like him a lot, and I love doing it. He's so much fun. So yes, Reggie will be back. Next one comes from William Gontis in Wilmington, North Carolina. Oh, that's a great vacation spot. I've been to Wilmington. Yeah, Screen Gems is down there. I used to work down there. Right. So this one says, I ordered one of your shirts and loved it so much, I am now taking a shower with you. I got the shower curtain. Oh, that's awesome. So that was great. I love that. I ordered one of your shirts and loved it so much, I'm now taking a shower with you. I got your shower curtain. That's awesome. I love it. Yeah, congratulations, William, because I don't have it. But I've seen it, and it looks amazing. It's actually this. It's just this design on a shower curtain. This next one comes from Debbie Schrader in West Virginia. Can we guess it? Oh, I already read that. What else? Oh, here we go. All right. I got the Santa Drake decoder statue over the holidays. It came with the fan club. Can I get the normal statue of you? Oh, they're saying that they ordered the Santa Drake decoder and it came with all the fan club stuff. So they're all a member in the fan club, but they want to get the Captain Drake normal statue decoder. Is that right? How I'm reading that? This comes from Greg Hannawalt in La Plata, Maryland. Yeah, absolutely. You can just order it separately from Phoenix Comics and Toys, and because you're a member of the fan club, I think you get 20% off too. So the Santa Drake decoder statue was actually a good buy because it's only available at Christmas time. You can't get it now. And it's only available till the end of January, so you can't get it now. It's already February, so that's over. So that's a good buy. You can get the Santa Drake one next Christmas maybe if we re-release it. But there'll be another one coming out in July. The Uncle Sam Captain Drake? I don't know, what do you want to call it? Uncle Drake statue for the 4th of July where I have a big beard and top hat and red, white, and blue. Yeah, we're going to do that in July. We're going to do one a year, something different. So that'll be the one in July. So yeah, you can do that. Absolutely. I think you get 20% off. If they got a problem with it, you tell them I said to give you 20% off. Just show your fan club membership. That's what I take. I like to take command when I'm the captain, I just tell them to get it that way. Let's see, our next letter comes from C.L. Helsel. Is that right? C.L. Helsel? Chris Helsel? Will there be a battle with the new villain? Oh, yeah. I'm telling you right now, that's the whole reason I introduced this villain. I wanted to have some sea battles and some excitement and do some... We're doing some really cool special effects on the show, and they're not half bad. They've been better, but I want to do a little bit of a battle. And that's what the schlockiness... when you do a schlocky show like this and you host horror movies, I think the public understands that you're really working with chewing gum and light bulbs. Right? I don't think they're expecting ILM or George Lucas to walk in and make X-Wings flying across. I think they understand you're working with like string and like what Aline Isley dealt with her tail and doing puppeteering with having the tail in the background. I think we understand all that. So yeah, it'll be battle. It'll be fun. It'll be schlocky. It'll be a lot of fun. But I'm being told that we are out of time, correct? We're out of time this week, me hearties. So we're running out of time rapidly too. All right, I'll wrap it up. So tune in next time. The movie for next month, I believe, will be Plan 9 from Outer Space. I know we've been posting it for a year, but the pandemic hurt us a bit, so we haven't aired it yet. So that's what we're going to run. And don't forget about the Pirate's Booty tonight after the show is over, where we'll take your phone calls, your live phone calls about the show and what you thought, questions about the show itself. Tonight's movie, of course, all right, I'm getting it out. Tonight's movie is Terror Creatures from the Grave with Barbara Steele, one of the sexiest women in Hollywood history or the Italian cinema. And I'm out of time, and we'll see you next time on Walk the Plank, and I'll catch up with you live tonight on the Pirate's Booty, our podcast about the show itself. Our next show is in 3, 2, 1. Beat that.